It's a first day of vacation. I'm gonna try and do stuff in the yard. What? That's shocking. No, it's not. It's totally normal and on brand for me. Yeah. Cabbage whites! Yeah, the cabbage whites are out. And there are caterpillars everywhere. And I have to spray everything down with BT later today. That is my plan. I'm letting them lay their eggs one more time. And then tonight, y'all getting sprayed down because I have too many brassicas and they're already attacking them. I'm waiting for slug traps. We took down the fence between the gardens and it feels so good. Yeah, but I've got a lot of stuff I need to harvest. And yeah, tomorrow I'll do a garden tour after I harvest all the stuff. But this is very exciting to me because we will have corn. Look at all the corn silks and the tassels and the silk at the same time. Totally the goal. So yeah. So hopefully all of these will get pollinated and we will have corn. It's not bad. That smoked one. But yeah, chaos. Chaos reigns supreme. Oh, and I bought more onions to plant because I'm a silly person who's planting more onions. I'm on vacation, which means in theory I can make all of the things happen. I was really lazy yesterday. It was way too hot to do all the things that I planned to do because yeah, it was too hot. It finally broke a little. We should have a storm coming in, which feels awesome. It's just been super hot, so it's been very difficult to work outside. But my garden loves it, especially the pumpkins that have escaped and exploded and are taking over the world. I have made a mistake, but it's the best mistake. Sweet potatoes, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, tomatoes, cantaloupe, I think, maybe watermelon, I don't remember. This is not doing as well as it used to. My garlic that died, it cloved, and then, or it cloved, it died, it came back and made all these little ones. So I'm just letting them dry out. Onions that I'm letting dry out in here, hoping that this will provide enough protection and not too much sun to cook them, because this corner gets pretty shady, and which is why the things down here are not doing as well as they could. But yeah, like this only gets maybe 6 hours of sun. This is dying back. The holy basil is coming back, which is awesome. And then I planted a seed right there that should be covered more than exposed. That's a pumpkin seed, or not a pumpkin seed, squash. So I also put summer squash in there, and then this is sweet potatoes and tomatoes and purple oxalis. And tomatoes just losing their mind. But yeah, now for a big garden tour. Beware the caterpillars from doom. So this is a bunch of caterpillar eggs that I just found on this kale plant. This is a bunch of caterpillar eggs. So if you've never seen what caterpillar eggs look like, that's what they look like. The white cabbage moths, the loopers, they plant they lay a single one of these. These are like the army worms, right? They're the ones that you can actually see under black light. They're actually easier to spot because they're multicolored and they're darker. They're darker green with like yellow stripe down their back. But yeah, so inspect the underside of your leaves, because had I not just pulled this to make breakfast, oh, that's just, my whole plant is gone because every single one of those little eggs would be a caterpillar in like 2 days. This is the 100% woman, go spray BT. So yeah, I'm hoping it rains today, and then I'll spray tomorrow if it rains today, because it feels like we got a storm coming. But yeah, this, if you don't know what caterpillar eggs look like, that is what caterpillar eggs look like on the underside of a kale leaf. Yeah, not fun. And that is a caterpillar. It's a different species of caterpillar, But that is a caterpillar. Sorry, something was crawling on my leg, on my leaf. So there's a caterpillar, and there are a bunch of eggs for a different caterpillar species. This plant would be gone in days. I actually picked off one of these right after. Yeah. So yeah, caterpillar. Nemesis. This is the third one I found on this plant. So yeah, had I not come out here today, this whole plant would be gone tomorrow. Cleared out the beans, planted out some cabbage starts in here and some onions in this one yesterday. Pumpkins! Eternally, pumpkins make me ridiculously happy. I planted a bunch of different varieties, and I don't know which ones they are, but this one's cool and kind of has like a little turbany butt, so I need to figure out. I don't know when to harvest any of these, but yeah, but there are tons and tons and tons of little pumpkins, big pumpkins, reasonable sized pumpkins, twins over there. But yeah, they're just getting bigger and awesome. The beans are coming in. The Brussels I transplanted have seen much better days. Slugs are attacking things. That tall chaos over there that I'm afraid I'll fall if I try to record and walk. That awesome thing is a fennel that I planted at the wrong time, but it's going to seed, and we're going to save the seeds, and we've been using the fronds as a spice in salads and stuff. But yeah, so there's other fennel in there that I planted later, so that should be good. Kind of hoping it rains and then I don't have to water anything, but I don't know that that's going to happen. But it feels like it might. This might be way too windy. This is spinach. This is a weed hiding amongst my salads and some garlic. But yeah, these are all like getting ready to bolt. Second succession of peas. But yeah, these are getting ready. So I keep giving these to the chickens as I'm pulling them. But I also keep giving the chickens buckets full of chaos over there. Yeah, just more carrots. A couple parsnips, radishes, grass, which no one wants grass. That's not the goal in here. But yeah, well, the teeniest baby carrot in the world. These carrots are really funny because they're a very weird little variety. So I don't know if, like, they're supposed to be, yeah. Like, I think they're called French balcony. So they're supposed to grow in pots. So they're these little stubby ones that are supposed to be small and stubby. So we'll see. This has lost its mind because it's lost its mind. Sledding it also lost its mind. It's fine. My kale and Brussels bed is doing okay. So many more pumpkins. And then this one's a different variety. It doesn't have that same little nubbin. There's a summer squash in here. So, yeah. Amidst all the chaos, there's a summer squash. So we're getting... There's 2 summer squash in here, and then the rest are winter squash. So I always have to, like, dig in and find them. We've been having tayberries. Chaos. I pulled out a bunch of the onions and I planted new ones. This is... I think I might be able to take this out today. So this is our mustard seed. And then once this is out, I can clean up this bed and I can plant some of the brassica starts that I have in the house, which will be awesome. It'll also give me a little bit more access to this bed because it's a bit chaosy. Oh, I really hope we get a storm today. It feels like it. Oh, we need it. We so hardcore need it. My bag of sweet potatoes, and then we just have like random Jerusalem artichokes coming up that are volunteering in the yard in places that I didn't have them last year, which is funny. Pears are shaping up. So yeah, we planted this for my daughter's second. Oh no, I planted this just for me when my daughter was 1, and then we planted a fig tree for her out there, but I did this kind of as a backup tree for her. There's a family apple tree that has 3 different apples grafted onto it. That was her second birthday present. Because I just take her to plant. I used to take her to plant stores before COVID and let her pick out a plant on her birthday. My plan was to take her to the Malmo Garden Expo, which is where she picked out the fig tree, and let her walk around and pick stuff. And she picked the fig tree herself when she was 1. I presented her with a bunch of plants, and then it was canceled because they were trying to make it bigger. And then, so we went to the plant store and she picked out the family tree. And then COVID happened, so it didn't happen last year. So it's okay. It's fine. No big deal. Hello, beetle. It's probably something I should kill, but it's okay. And then I've got some cucumbers and a ground cherry, and just things are bananas, because that's how I roll. And I'm getting flowers, but I haven't gotten fruit yet on any of my cucumbers, which I don't have good luck with cucumbers in Sweden. I just don't. It's not a thing. Doesn't matter where I grow them, how I grow them. They are not. They don't do well for me. This is chickweed. This is horseweed. So, yeah. Just trying to do little bit by little bit. This is pineapple weed. This is delicious. This is wild chamomile. It smells absolutely incredible if you've never stumbled across it, but it is awesome. And just for identification purposes, that's the roots. And they'll grow either as single stems like this. They've got some pest damage from these guys. They're also good as a trap crop because they're awesome like that. But once they never set the flowers. They don't have the white flowers. They just stay in these little like green buds, and these smell like pineapple. They're super sweet. They're awesome. And if you make a tea that's just the buds, it's very sweet and yellow. If you include the stem, it'll be not as sweet. It'll be a little grassy, which I personally do not mind, and I like it. But once these get fertilized, they'll turn brown, and then they'll explode like this, and then that will happily reseed everywhere. I use it for ground cover sometimes, so I've got a bunch of it around. It's also one of those pioneer crops, so like it'll just grow in gravel. It'll grow with like no nutrients, and so if you've got like a problem area that nothing will grow because your soil sucks, like they're good, like dandelions, right? Like any of the things that we consider weeds that are pioneer crops, they make it happen, right? And these are kohlrabi that I sowed way too densely, and there wasn't enough nutrition for them in this bed, and so they're just kind of sad. Like some of them are starting to bulb up, but I'm sure these will be way too woody. I'm going to need to take these broad beans out because they've got a lot of weirdness. This might be baby aphids, which might be part of my problem. My aphid control issues this year. It's fine. It's fine. I harvested garlic out of this bed. I need to transplant. I need to amend this a little bit and put some stuff in. Oh my god, we have so much life in the garden right now. Yeah. I really think this mustard is done now. So I might need to come in and pick this all out if we are in fact going to get a storm. Because otherwise this will all get wet and can mold, and it can be a problem. But yeah. Don't mind me while I just try to figure out my day. Oh. Yeah. More pineapple weed. It's the best. Hi, chickens. And they got cast-offs of brassicas yesterday. The cornfield is coming along. This patch was all direct sowed. This is a tomato runner that I just stuck in there. Smoltron, cauliflower that is being attacked by all the bugs in the world. A radish that has bolted and is now for the chickens. Hey, chickens. Oh. Good chicks. You figure it out? But this is the first corn that I sowed, which has silks and tassels, and we will hopefully have a bunch of corn to eat in a couple weeks. So, yeah, I think 2 weeks is when this is supposed to be ready to harvest. 3 weeks after tassels appear. So, I think these came up last weekend, I think this went. We'll see. But, but hopefully this will work. But, yeah, it's good. I am this tall. And it's a little bit of a cheat because it's in a raised bed, but it's not that much. But it is, most of this is as tall as me, which is great. And I think most of these have 2 ears on them. So, yeah, hopefully we'll get some corn. It'll be awesome. And then that's another succession, and that's another succession. That is, I think, a kohlrabi or a rutabaga that got decimated by slugs. It's fine. That's what it is. And then there's a squash there, and I put another squash back there. But I don't think, like, they're just shaded out by the corn. So it's possible that when we harvest this, it'll get more sun. I don't know. It's fine. I try to do 3 sisters. It doesn't work. It's sweet for me every time. They just want their own space, which is fine. I had major aphid problems in here, so they were just all over everything. So I took the covers off. Like, you can see how infested this is. It's not okay. And so I'm coming in with the hose and blasting them and trying to spray them off to control them. But because they were under the cover, I couldn't see how bad it got, and there was nowhere for other insects to come and take care of that problem for me. So same thing was happening over here on these beans. Oh, birds. So this is bird damage, and this is why this was covered. This was not covered because I, like, a little bit to protect from, like, caterpillars and stuff, but this was mostly covered to keep the birds from eating my beets, because the birds keep eating my young beets. So, but yeah, all of this is just super aphid damage nonsense, and so I had to take the cover off yesterday. But there are so many bugs and beetles, and hello, little ladybug who can come in now that I've opened this up. So that's promising that there's already a ladybug in here, which is fun. And she's hanging out on asparagus. So I put asparagus in here many years ago, which was a mistake, but I just let it, like, it's just a bad idea. It doesn't have enough nutrition, it doesn't have enough space. And so this one is coming up. There was another one on that side that I think died. And so I'm just letting it try to be a survivor. We have lots of little mushrooms. Not eating them, we just have them. This is where my summer squash is. That vine up there is a spaghetti squash. So it is taking over the birch tree. So we may have a spaghetti birch tree, which will be fun. There's beans in here. My volunteer calendula, which that's now just seeds. So we'll get more volunteers next year. Yeah, keep deadheading your flowers if you can. This is oregano that's gone to flower, which I'm going to actually harvest some of these and make a bouquet for a friend of mine. We're supposed to go over to their house tonight for a barbecue, which I'm bringing a fish to, which is the giant fish that I caught back on May 1st. So I'm just going to try to get this to train around this. We'll see. I don't know that that's going to work, but I can get a clip and clip it. Ugh, razor lettuce. This weed does not feel good. It's like the bastard child of a thistle and a dandelion. You can eat it, but it's really spiky, and I'm not a fan. But yeah, the oregano is just taking over this bed. So I need to harvest full plants because I don't need this much oregano. No one needs this much oregano. I also harvested and dried and preserved a bunch of oregano earlier this year. These are potatoes that I will need to harvest this week. I was just waiting for this plant to die back, hoping that maybe it would give me some nice big ones at the bottom. These are Cherokee purple tomatoes. I don't label anything, so I don't really know how I remember any of this, but I do. It's fine. These are soldaki tomatoes, so we'll see. But yeah, there's a tomato plant in this bed that I don't remember the variety. I think they might be just regular, like, beefsteak. Yeah, I think they're just beefsteak tomatoes is what they call them. And then these are soldaki tomatoes. So yeah, I pulled the two borage that were in here, and I'm going to replant this with basil that I have started in the house, but I need to harden it off. This is my coriander / cilantro that has gone to seed that I'm trying to let finish, right? Much like the mustard seed in the back, I'm letting this mature so that we can harvest it as a spice, and let some of it drop, because it will just drop and then it will resow itself. Another spaghetti squash over there, which is actually making a spaghetti squash, which is kind of awesome. Yeah, raspberry starts. So this plant has sent runners down into the bed, and so it didn't have anywhere that it could come up there because of the landscaping fabric, so it followed this nutrition and is stealing it from this bed. So this is just inundated with ground elder, which is this guy, which I've talked about before as my nemesis. It can be used as a parsley substitute. Once it flowers, it can have a soporific effect. It's okay. The only thing that I've used it for is as a spice, right? And I made a gremolata with it that was really good, but like, I don't like this enough for how invasive it is. And if it wasn't choking out the life of my plants, right? Like, seeing what's happening over there versus what's happening here. Like, this squash was planted at the exact same time as that. Like, these were just 2 seeds put in here. And like, I don't think the nutrition is that much better in that bed than this one. And I think that it is the ground ivy, or the ground elder, right? That this is the culprit for why this is so far behind. Like that, but I don't know, like, because that bed was built on hugel culture, right? So like, that bed has a layer of chicken filth at the bottom, and that bed has like old logs, so it does have active decay in there, and it is a little warmer because of that. And it doesn't have to contend with the raspberries either. So like, I don't know if it's just the raspberries or if it's the raspberries and the ground elder, but this bed is, but then that squash is doing fine, and that tomatoes, yeah, I don't know, but I suspect that these 2 plants, right, are the reason this bed is not as good as that bed this year, rather than the nutrition is so much better in that bed than this bed. And I think I topped this with horse manure too, so like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is just invasive species nonsense, also bindweed, so that's fine. And yarrow on the outsides, which I'm also going to harvest for the bouquet I'm going to make later. But yeah, it's just very, like, this bed gets more sun than that bed, right? Like, all of it feels like this bed should theoretically be doing better than that one. But this happened last year. That bed did way better than this one. This was the no-dig bed. That is hugel bed. So year 1, hugel won. Year 2, hugel is winning way better. The cardboard is not enough to suppress ground elder. Whether or not there was more ground elder under here, like, right, like, if there was ground elder here, like, it can infiltrate from the side. But yeah, once it gets established, it's bad. But also, I covered this, and yeah, it's just, yeah, this bed might have to get torn out completely and redone, which would not be the biggest mistake. We made it too wide. Like, I can't reach. I can't reach across. So I always have to like step into the middle of it to do stuff. So, yeah, that may be another winter project. We're talking about redoing a lot of the beds this winter. But yeah, I really like them. And as an experiment, they're good. And they're working well. And the trellis we made with just like found objects in the yard, I still really like that because it's just a thing that we did because we're silly. And it's just some like mesh that we used to left over, right? That we used to reinforce the chicken coop. Yeah, this is not gonna make corn. I planted potatoes with these and I harvested the potatoes, and so they're just very angry. It's the exact same variety that's over there. Yeah. Oh, a little exciting. So my plan to grow tomatoes on the fence so that neighbors can have them if they want a snack. They're finally like starting to get to the point where they're ripe and good. So, yeah. I don't know that my neighbors know they can have a snack, but they can if they want. Yeah, I need to figure out if we're watering or if we're actually going to get a storm today. Because it has been way too hot and way too dry, but it's feeling nice and cool. I planted out some more thyme because ours got taken over by the pumpkins. Very funny problems to have. That was Smoltron. This is, I think, a Daikon Radish. I get volunteers over here all the time because I planted a daikon there like 3 years ago and I didn't harvest it because it bolted and it went to seed, much like this. And so if you don't keep on top of it, you will have them whether you want to or not. And radishes can be a little spiky. Just the plant leaves themselves. They irritate my skin a little bit. Well, that's happening. There you go. Happy snacks, guys. Yeah. In case you were unaware, chickens love brassicas. They have a lot of calcium, so it's actually good for their eggs too. But yeah. Hey guys. All right. Sorry, I got chicken distracted. I'm good for that though. Yeah. Greenhouse. Too hot. These beans did not like it. Nona's beans were mad. Also, Nona's beans is apparently growing out. What did you do? They have grown through the seam. There's a little crack in the glass and have gone outside. Hi. Oh, hello. Well, I have a feeling Nona's beans are going to take over the roof. So, well, okay. That's, yeah, there's just a crack in the glass right there that I've never noticed before. Until a bean found its way outside. That somehow feels correct. Alright. Yeah, okay. Grapes, onions, and carrots, and cucumbers that are all mad because too much stuff. This is a baby birch tree. So yeah, that's a baby birch tree. Razor lettuce. Wood sorrel. I don't know. It's okay. Sunchokes growing on purpose. This is my 1,000-head kale that I'm pretty sure got caterpillars laid on it. Yep. There we go. Super tiny. So I need to come in here and I need to spray with BT, but I need to find my sprayer. But yeah. Yep. Here we go. So they are the tiniest. They are jerks. They are small. They will completely eat this entire thing. So yeah, when you see the white cabbage or the white butterflies, the 2 dots on the wings. So if they have 2 dots on this wing and 2 dots on that wing, that's a female, and they need to die. I actually caught 2 butterflies in here copulating, making more butterflies, and I killed them in the act. But there's just too many of them, and I'm surrounded by fields that plant canola, also known as upland. Okay, so here, these are butterfly eggs. I don't know if you can see that, but these little yellow things on here, that becomes a caterpillar. So these little yellow tags, they're so tiny. That becomes a caterpillar. There's another one on top. So if you don't get to those, they will eat your plants. So the best way to take care of this is BT. So when they wake up, they will, hey, but yeah, the BT, they'll eat it and then they'll die, and then it's fine. So it is organic pest control. It's a soil fungicide, Bacillus thuringiensis. I don't know how to say that. I don't know that any of us know how to say that. There's a bunch of words that we're just like, meh. It's fine. But so they will decimate all of your brassicas. So yeah, my two main problems and pests, or no, my three main problems and pests are aphids, slugs, and caterpillars. So they're just making it weird. But I have peppers everywhere, which is awesome. And like actually ripening and getting more eggplants, which is awesome. And tomatoes are ripening. These are the sweet 100s. There's 3 of them in here, and they're setting off runners and taking over the world. I came out and did a harvest of some of these yesterday. But yeah, and then I'm just trying to keep on top of all of these brassicas and taking care of the lower leaves. I left this one like flower stalk for the bees on there. My San Marzanos are doing really, really good. I've never grown them before, and I did not expect them to get this big. So that's like, I expected them to be small like this, but the fact that they're getting this big before ripening is very encouraging, considering the fact that they are just growing in a potato pot that I have repurposed, and they have no real structure or help, right? Like, they're just kind of taking over stuff. More coriander, and I'm just letting them. Yeah, this kohlrabi, this one I think is actually very close to being ready to harvest, and the most successful, biggest kohlrabi I've ever grown, which is why I haven't harvested it yet, because it makes me happy that it's actually working. And in this container, right? All the ones I've done in beds, not nearly as good as the one in this container. These are melons, and there's a loofah. I don't know that we'll get any of these, but it's worth a try. There's an Armenian yard-long cucumber back there, which I don't know how it's doing because it's back there. It's my peppers are starting to ripen. Tomatoes are ripening. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just pulling these. Yesterday I watered these and a couple of them split. So I'm just gonna bring them inside the house to let them finish. And yeah, show me. There we go. There's a big cabbage looper. Yeah, so come on, jerk. Hi. Yeah, what's up? Nemesis. But yeah, so you just have to stay on top of it or spray. And I have too many brassicas to try to hand pick them all. Like I've done that in the past, and it's just hours and hours and hours of me patrolling, and it just, I can't. Like, I will accept chemical help, and the only thing that saved my brassicas last year was BT. So you go over there. They're cool. They look cool, but they're jerks. This padron pepper plant is giving me the spiciest peppers I've ever had, which is like from a padron pepper. It's surprisingly hot, which is kind of awesome. And then those are bell peppers and snack peppers. So those are all sweet peppers. And then the cayennes are over there. So I've got cayenne peppers and padron peppers, and everything else is a sweet pepper. But yeah, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I just want to harvest and go get rid of caterpillars. Caterpillar! Oh, and I need to feed the chickens and probably water some gardens, but there. You can go outside. Good luck, buddy. Godspeed. Yeah. Butterflies are pretty, but not when they eat your food. It's fine. And then this is just a mistake. I put some Sweet 100s in here to like start to root to transplant out, and they flowered. So now they're just in here and they're gonna take over, and it's gonna be very funny because there's like some beans up top and then 2 tomato plants. And if this makes me food in this tiny little flower pot with all these other plants that I've grown other things in here that I've eaten, I'm just gonna laugh because there's no reason that this should work. Like, this is silly that this is sending off a sucker and that's flowering and we're getting fruit set, and yeah, that's just silly to me. So, but it's wild and bananas, so I'm letting it happen because it's wild and bananas and I'm letting it happen. And yeah, I think we have a storm coming. I hope we have a storm coming. We need the rain. We haven't had rain in a while, and we keep saying we're gonna get it, and it doesn't come. So, yeah, this is Southern Sweden in July. July 18th. Thanks for watching.